Being live.
Man, it is raining. It is raining.
Is it? Man, we had the remnants of I guess Tropical Storm Fred yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was, oh man, yesterday it was like pouring down. We had all kinds of tornado warnings, and in fact, like, where you at? She was like, I'm on my way home. I'm like, all right, get here. They done said move to the basement.
Man, I tell you, I'm just like, and it's depressing because I already haven't cut my grass in way too long. And so I was like, all right, maybe I'll try to cut it Saturday. But I looked at the forecast and it's supposed to rain like the next 3-4 days. So I'm like, damn. And my yard, when it rains hard, it just like all the water just sits down too. It's just terrible.
Yeah, now my damn head on tail. Oh, there we go.
All right, we are up and live, huh?
Yeah, we up and live, and I'm still struggling, boy. I'm struggling. I'll be all right.
It's all right. Live.
Oh, there we go.
It's live TV, and it don't even cost as much as direct TV.
Yeah, man. This is like some cheap entertainment.
Hey, that's the entertainment I like. I don't like mine.
Me too. I was singing Ashford and Simpson on my video I was recording today. Don't cost you nothing, baby.
I tell you what, too. I tell you what, this is our third week doing this, but this is like something I look forward to all the time now. Like even though if you think about the context of how many hours in a day and how many days a week, it's just the 1 or 2 hours
right.
The whole week, but it's like look forward to it because even for an hour and a half, it's like, man, I don't have to think about nothing else. I can just
right. It's easy. You don't gotta prep for it or whatever. It's just
that's the benefits of working with somebody you really fuck with, though.
Exactly. And listen, I got a quote. You had some quotes written down last week.
Yep.
I said I got a quote. So, and I just heard this one this afternoon, and I thought it was interesting. And it said, "When you run with the wolves, don't trip."
So will we be considered wolves?
I don't know. I would hope not. Because the wolves will run you over, boy.
Hey, you know what? Probably some people. We got some people would probably consider me a wolf and you the good guy, and vice versa. Some people could consider you the wolf and I'm the good guy. And hell, some people probably like shit. Both of their ass wolves.
Both of their asses got to go.
Both of them some wolves. But I like I said, I'm happy to be here and shoot. How's your day been going so far? You have had a good day?
Oh man, today is a great day. I was telling you yesterday. Yesterday was I said, well, the statute of limitations ain't out, but yesterday was I was having a great day. I had a great day all day, but at some point, a part of my trailer was up against another guy's truck where it wasn't supposed to be, and steam was coming all out the front of his truck and all that stuff. So, that wasn't a good part of the day. So,
right.
You know what I always say? It's always hard when you fall off a horse to get back on the horse. So sure enough, when I got home, I had a load popped up for the day. And I was like, if I didn't go today, I probably would be quitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out this morning and it was good. Everything was good. I didn't hit nothing. Shout out to OG Rick. He said, don't hit shit. But all drivers eventually gonna hit shit,
That's like they say, you riding a motorcycle, it's like there's riders that have not fallen yet, or those that have fallen and those that haven't fallen yet. You're gonna fall.
You're gonna fall.
You're gonna fall.
Exactly.
What you grabbing? I hear you rustling some cellophane over there.
Oh, yeah. So I got the 1502 XO. And I've had this box. This came out of my box that was signed by Enrique.
Mm-hmm.
And 2016. So these bad boys got a little bit of, yeah, man. Enrique is my man. He was like one of the early supporters of Ira Busso.
Right.
And, he believed in us when we first started, and he was our sponsor for quite a few years. And we smoked a lot of 1502 cigars, because at that point, there was no money involved. It was all just product and trade. So he was happy. We were happy. And we gave away a lot of cigars on the show. It was good.
But ain't that funny how times have changed?
Times have changed. And listen, you stop giving away stuff, people stop watching. Some people.
Yeah. Yeah, or if you stop speaking positive about everything, you stop getting sent things too. Funny how that stuff works out too. But you know, like I said, when you do stuff for the right reasons, like I said, you ain't started to get free stuff. That's not why we do it. So the free stuff is just kind of a bonus.
That's all.
That's it. But
so what you smoking tonight? I see you back to smoking. You recovered from your illness?
Yeah, it's weird, really weird. So like now I'm probably back about 85% or so. But today I'm smoking from August from I think it was from June's box, the Aventura, the Return King's Gold.
Yep, that was a good cigar.
I like these a lot. And Juan Pablo.
What's up, baby?
So I looked in the humidor and I was looking through some things. I was like, I just grabbed this thing. I need to smoke it again. So I actually was smoking a Rojas Blue Bonnet yesterday in Toro.
I enjoyed that cigar.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. So the first half of the cigar was phenomenal. Then the last half of it, it just kind of went to a very average cigar for me.
Okay.
Now I would smoke it again, but the first half I was like, man, it's really good, really, really good cigar. Then it just fell flat on his face. And on top of that, so I smoke in the sunroom, and very rarely will Nikki say something to me about smoke going through the house or anything. But yesterday she was like, "Is that what you're smoking, or did something die in here?" And I was like, yeah, it's probably that cigar, She's like, I got the whole house smelling like shit. Like it tastes. I was like, well, at least the first half of it tasted good.
So, yeah.
So this is actually what I had left of it.
Okay, gotcha.
I just put it down, but smoking this Aventura. So
okay, yeah, I re-smoked today the Lady Killer from LCA. So I did that. Did a review. It'll be coming out. I got 3 in the can now. I got to get out. So
that's good. Always good to have them in the can rather than have nothing in the can.
Yeah. Yep. I had I did the Monte Cristo Blue. I did that Padron Black, and then the Lady Killer. So we got those 3 coming up.
Yeah, I smoked all 3 cigars. So it'd be interesting to hear what you say about them.
Yep. It will be interesting.
So
glad I don't sell cigars.
Yeah. Shit. Me too sometimes too. But I know I think this will become a kind of a weekly thing too, since we're only up here once a week. But everybody knows that I'm getting more into fragrance. Unc is getting into fragrance too. So Unc, what kind of sauce are you wearing today?
Oh, today we got on that Mancera Sicily. Oh, buddy. Hey.
Smelling good.
My hiney still smell
smelling
clean.
Good.
Hey, listen,
I like that one a lot.
I put that one on this morning, and my wife said, "Oh, I like that. I like that." So after I left the room, I had my scent bubble going.
Yeah, you get a little pizzazz going too. You get the beginning of the day started like that.
Yep. And so when I left the bathroom, she was like, "Oh yeah, that smells just like you." Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
that was
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what you got? I saw that Shalimar up on IG.
That's what I'm wearing. It's really kind of it's not really. I wouldn't say it's really controversial, other than I've been doing a lot more experimentation with like fragrances that are geared or marketed towards women.
Right.
And so Shalimar this one is the Eau de Parfum, which released in 1990. So it's marketed towards women, but I'm gonna tell you now. The original one, the EDT, dropped in 1925 or 26. It's in the early 20s. But I'm gonna tell you now, this is a top 5 fragrance for me.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Nice. So it's got some nice vanilla, some powdery notes in there. There's a little bit of a small touch of animalic notes in there. It has a lot of florals in there, and even in the very beginning, it has a little bit of citrus in there too. But it's very well blended. It's very complex, and I don't know. It's one of the, like you just said, how you smell. Sometimes you put certain stuff on, and you can't stop smelling it. And like you said, that scent bubble gets going. And like I was saying last week, I don't care who likes it. I like it. Like I'm walking around, I'm like, it smells good. So
Now I've been running through a lot of Tom Ford this week. So I started out with that bitter peach.
Yeah, what'd you think? We've texted every day, but we hadn't really talked in huge detail.
I am quite digging that bitter peach, right? So I'm digging it, but You know what my wife said? She has to go do her Googles, right? Because I tell everybody to do the Googles. She said, "You know what a bitter peach is?" I said, "No, I had no idea."
Oh
She
hell.
was she was like an old disgruntled fag. A bitter peach.
Oh man.
I said, "Okay, that sucks."
Oh man. Why you got to rain on my parade? I was enjoying this fragrance. It smells good. You had to go up there and do that to me, huh?
You had to do that. So then I also recently wore the Gray Vetiver from Tom Ford.
What'd you think about that one?
That I like, and I agree with you. I also have the Guerlain Vetiver, which
not really your speed.
Right. But it might be. So
what's funny about the Guerlain, or what I may have said that last week. So what I think about that is, it's a very clean, soapy, green fragrance. That's a fragrance that even for me, as much as I like it, you got to be really careful with the trigger.
Right.
That's one of the ones that you spray it one time too many, it'll get annoying and may induce a headache. But that's one that I would only put maybe 2 sprays on or something like that.
Yeah, I gotta. You know what I'm really interested in now is like I want to know what does vetiver smell like by itself.
Like the actual scent oil.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I got to figure out how to do, because I try to pick that out. It's like with the cigar and the flavors and the scents and all that stuff. And sometimes it's hard to pick it out when it's mixed in with something else.
Right.
Like that Lady Killer. It's got a lot of pepper to it, but there was a creaminess to it. But the pepper steps all over the creamy. So if you're not really aware of the creamy, you're gonna miss it. So it's like the scents are like that too.
So when I smoked it, I would agree with it too. And shout out to Og. But here's the thing for me too, right? So Southern, and I think shout out to Robert Holt over at Southern Draw Cigars. But like out of all his whole lineup, the 2 that really resonate with me the most are the Jacob's Ladder, which I've reviewed before, and the Quick Draw Habano. I like both of those.
Those same 2. Those same 2 are the 2 I go to. Yep.
Yes. And so when I smoked to that lady, and so it doesn't surprise me to hear you say that it's overwhelming with pepper, because he uses a lot of AJ Fernandez crop, and I don't like a lot of AJ Fernandez. So I like spice, but it's got to have something else to it. If it's just pepper, that's not good to me. Like I want some natural sweetness in there. I want some other qualities to it. I need to see something else other than
right. It was definitely an AJ Nicaraguan cigar to me. I didn't feel like the spice was overly overwhelming.
Right.
It definitely left a pepper slick on my tongue from beginning all the way to the end.
I'm gonna tell you who else blends heavy with a lot of pepper too, and you'll probably agree. Not all of his cigars, but he has a lot that are even too peppery for me, because again, I'll smoke him and it just gets dry and chalky and just peppery, and it just doesn't taste good. And that's Espinosa. Yeah,
he does. You know what? You know what's good from him? And I saw this in the store today, which I got in the Privada box as well. That Cuban Link.
That's a very good cigar.
That Cuban Link and the Comfortably Numb is another good one from Espinosa. It's a couple of cigars where he kind of dialed the pepper back.
I was gonna say those 2 cigars aren't blended like his regular stuff.
Right. When you dial the pepper back, then all of a sudden, to me, then the rest of what he has in the blend shines, So, I got a little Hayman's of London Old Tom Gin that we're going to throw in the glass tonight. I got a little Sprite to go with that.
So I'm just drinking me a little black coffee. And if I decide to jump over, I got some Rebel Yell 10-year.
Okay.
How many bourbon fans I got out there? This came out.
And listen, I got a review. One of those reviews. That Monty Blue. I said when we were in Vegas, we were drinking Johnny Walker Blue, but we ain't in Vegas, so I'm drinking a little Rebel 100, $20 a bottle.
And I think when I got this back in the day, because this bottle is probably 3 or 4 years old, I think it was like $50.
Yeah,
which to me still wasn't bad for a 10-year-old single barrel at 100 proof. So I was like, okay, and it actually is really good.
Now, the funny thing, right? It's two bourbons that I have tended not to pick up because they have my mind says cheap or the wrong crowd, right? Rebel Yell was one of them.
Yes.
And Four Roses is another one.
Yes.
So Rebel Yell, I look at as like my classic rock, Pink Brothers, causing some destruction, swinging out the bottle with this bottle of Rebel Yell. and maybe my mind goes back to Billy Idol in the '80s and Rebel Yell and that type of thing. Four Roses, I'd always looked and said, "Well, don't they have a screw top on it? Ain't that some cheap
that's why.
bourbon?"
So are you talking about the yellow label?
I don't know. I just see the name Four Roses, and I'm like, I thought this was cheap bourbon. So now you got this single barrel, whatever. It's got this. The labels all look the same to me. So my mind goes,
So there's three. There's kind of like three traditional ones. You got the yellow label, which is actually which is the cheaper one. I think it's $20 and under. Maybe it might be more than that now. But back when I was really drinking it, the yellow label Four Roses you could get for like $18, $19. Then you had the small batch, which actually for the money wasn't bad. It was a sub $30 bottle, about 28, 29. And then you had the single barrel, which for me, like I think we've talked about it before too. I like single barrels, but the only thing I don't like about them sometimes is some barrels are really good and some of them
some barrels are not right.
So the small batch usually I prefer because it's more consistent with this.
So with the small batch, they're blending different barrels together, right?
Right. To it, and they do it to achieve a consistent taste.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's not bad. You know what else is good? Small batch. That Elijah Craig small batch is good, not expensive.
I'm gonna tell you what I was like. I've had the newer ones and I like them, but man, that's one of those things where I wish I would have been drinking or paying attention to what I was drinking 10 years before I was actually doing it, because Elijah Craig, all this stuff used to be 12-year-old age, and so I still got a half gallon of the old 12-year red label, the red number 12. And that stuff, the small batch now is okay, but that old 12-year,
that was the good stuff. Huh?
Oh my God, it was just same thing. And when me and you talked about it, I think a week ago too, like the Henry McKenna.
Yeah,
they used to be $30, sub $30 all day. That stuff used to just sit on the shelf.
Oh yeah,
nobody even paid attention to it. Another
one with a screw top.
Yep. And then all of a sudden it won whiskey of the year. Now you can't find it, or if you do find it, stores want $150 a bottle. It's like, man, you got to be kidding me, man. I ain't finna pay you $150 for this.
I lucked out. I got a bottle in there. I might have to sell it to somebody that want it for that price.
I tell you what, they want it for that price, they can have it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
before you go there.
Yep.
Lizzo and Cardi B, what you think about the song?
To keep it short, trash.
Oh man, you know what? And the funny thing is, I heard it and I had it on repeat. So I was like, okay, yeah, I don't like the goddams in the beginning.
Yeah. And see, I up until now, like Lizzo stuff's been pretty decent. I was just kind of this, and I was just kind of like,
See, I kind of liked it. And then I heard I was listening to Joe Budden podcast, and I heard she was getting a lot of backlash from the song. A lot of people were saying like you trash, and I was like, well, I don't know why. I thought it was all right.
Now, but you know what though? I'm gonna surprise everybody listening to this. Now, we both agreed on an album they released recently that probably nobody under the sun would think me and you would agree on. That Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, yeah.
That album underrated. They can say what they want to about Tyler, the Creator. That album is gold.
But like I said to you, I had only listened to some of his stuff, and I was like, this dude is weird. I don't get this. He's just weird. But this album, that last album wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. And then what about Nas? What do you think about his album?
I hadn't listened to that. I need to listen to it. I think I've been so caught up in trying to wait for Kanye that I just kind of been pushed. And then he pushed it back another week. I'm like, Kanye, I'm about to make a phone call, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I missed all of the streams and I haven't heard anything. I keep hearing people say, oh, no, it was good. It was good. Mm-hmm. All right, well, we going to see. Because, Kanye is a creative genius. He's crazy, but he's a creative genius.
And that's what I like about Tyler too. So this is why I think it's so good about people like him. In the time and era that we are in now, where copying people or trying to ride coattails is so common now, and it's so refreshing to see. Not like Tyler, I think is maybe my age, maybe a couple of years younger than me. Mm-hmm. So it's nice, and you can tell. And when you listen to the production. And you listen to the samples and just how everything is pieced together, you can tell that he actually really appreciates music. So for me, that's really, really nice to see somebody that's my age or a little bit younger that is not just so quick to throw 808 beats and just bass and stuff on everything. People that are actually piecing together
Right.
trying to piece together music. He actually has an appreciation for that. And I think
I
that
would,
people should give people more credit for that when they're trying to be creative. So
that's true. I like the new creative process, and I've used it and the cut up
Mhm.
and samples and all that stuff. But I really wish they would bring more music back into the schools
yes,
so that people know more of what they're doing. I think sometimes there's a benefit of not knowing what you're doing,
Mhm.
because if I tell you, hey, listen, you got a C scale and it's all the white notes, you say, okay, I got to stay in all the white notes. But when you don't know that, you say, well, I'm going to put this black one in there, and how's this sound? And you do things that are unorthodox.
right.
But I still think that there's a base that
Yes.
you should kind of know. So even though Kanye is able to do what he does, he's got an ear for it, but not everybody has that ear. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
I know you had a subject
No,
there.
no, as I said, this is just general talk, and that's a good thing too. And it even made me venture out because I watched like a week or so ago the Tribe Called Quest documentary on Hulu, and it was very good too because I'm just a very big Q-Tip fan anyway. So like I just listen to all this stuff all the time, and it always just has my mind thinking and my mind roaming and stuff too. So
Right.
I just I agree. I'm not a musician, but at the same time, I listen to so much or such a wide range of music. As far as it is east as it is west, I'll go from listening to the Whispers and the Spinners to Al Jarreau to going over to listen to Albert King to going over to listen to Sting or Duran Duran, whatever. It's just the actual art of, and what I like doing sometimes too. I'll go on YouTube and I like watching not only the Soul Train episodes, but I actually like going back and watching the actual music videos where I can actually watch the people playing the instruments, because I feel like that's lost now, where you watch music videos now and it's just all like small movies, so to speak, instead of actual people. So
you know what I really enjoyed, I guess it was a documentary, movie or whatever, of Queen. And just watching Freddie Mercury.
Fantastic band.
Man, what a great band. What a great musician that he was. And the different styles that were in there, from the operatic to the hard rock to just all over the place. And like, that was one of the reasons why I like Prince so much. Like, and back in the 80s, I was a member of a group, like a Prince fan group or whatever. And at this point, we were trading cassettes.
Yes.
And a lot of this stuff that would go from cassettes, or they would be like bootleg CDs or whatever, they were from Prince after shows. So he would do a concert and all of this, Let's Go Crazy, Purple Rain or whatever. And then he would go to a little small spot and he might play like a whole bunch of Bob Dylan Woodstock songs, or Jimi Hendrix, all Eric hard rock stuff. Eric Clapton. It was like he was just like a musician, And for years, I didn't know he knew how to play the piano. I was like, oh yeah, he's a guitar player. I was like, I didn't know he knew that.
And they said he knew how to play all kinds of stuff.
Oh, bro, he played all kinds of stuff, and he played it well. Like Larry Graham is a monster bass player. And you see, he'll play along with Larry, just like whatever Larry played, he'll play it right back. It was just like it just stuck in his mind. He could turn it around and play it.
Some people are just truly gifted. And I think that's funny you mentioned Prince and Freddie Mercury, because I think that is kind of going to go hand in hand with this topic that I was wanting to bring up. And for me, along with them being very creative, I can look at them even without knowing them and say to myself that those guys were real leaders. And I say that they were leaders because they were able to march to the beat of their own drum, and you could tell they walked and moved through life without worrying about what anybody else thought about them. And I think that there's a level of peace or tranquility that you can gain from being like that. You look at Prince and it's like, this dude wore heels, or Freddie Mercury being gay and wearing these tight leather outfits, and it's like, I know, if these dudes can do this shit, like, I'm worried about these little issues that I'm worried about, and these dudes went through life. And they were doing this stuff. They were doing this stuff when it wasn't even really, quote unquote, being cool to come out and be different and stuff like that. Like, so.
But now, on the other hand, though, like Prince was a pain in the ass to work with. Freddie, I don't know. The band stayed together for a long time. It seems like they kind of understood each other. We understand Freddie is just being Freddie and whatever. So. I guess being a leader, you got to have people to lead, and you got to have a leadership style that makes people want to follow what you are are they're picking up what you're putting down, you
Right.
know. And I think today we have so many people that are so, their confidence is so low that they're looking for somebody to lead them, and they are getting hung up with these leaders that are false leaders. So I was telling you earlier before we got on the call, I've been I've been indulged in this guy David E. Taylor, calls himself a prophet. Says that he met Jesus face to face, and Jesus told him this, and God told him that, and blah 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 blah. And so you have a lot of people that follow these people, whoever. And he's just an example, But you have a lot of people that follow them, and a lot of times I want to say they're like weak, not confident. They're looking for something, and these people give them what it is that they're looking for. But all leaders should be able to tell you, hey, listen, this is where I'm getting it from.
Right.
So if I'm a church leader, I'm a Christian church leader, I ought to be able to go back to the master manual, the Bible, and go, all right, listen, this is kind of where I'm getting it from, or this is my interpretation of what it is. If I'm a Muslim, I ought to be able to go back to the Quran and say, hey, this is what our rules are, and this is why we do this.
You know me, you know how big I am on citing your source.
You got to cite your source. So no matter what it is, you ought to be able to do that. Same thing like we were talking about the president of the country.
Yes.
If you are the president, you ought to be able to lead and go back and say, here's why I am leading. Now, in leadership, there's always things that as the leader, I am privy to that you as the followers may not be privy to. So you have to have a way to be able to tell your followers or people that are following you, hey, listen, I'm doing this and there's something that we're working on, but this part I can't tell you, but as soon as I can, I will let you know what's going on. Right. So you just gotta be able to have a little rationality, and you gotta have a little common sense to be able to look at what your leader is saying. And sometimes you have to be able to question your leader and say, I hear what you're saying, sir, ma'am, right, but that don't quite make sense to me.
Right. So I guess the question for me to you would be like, so in your life, for as many years as you've been in the world, when do you feel like you've always had leadership characteristics and has always been there since you've been a kid? Or when do you feel like, if it hasn't always been there, when do you feel like it's transitioned over for you? And when do you feel like that button kind of switched to where you feel like you became?
Was not always there. Not always there. So one of the first things I talked about on this thread was confidence in yourself.
Right.
So as a kid, and I was confident in myself. I was like this little nappy head guy with glasses. I wasn't really good at sports. I took guitar lessons. I played piano. I couldn't sing. I wasn't really good at music. I was kind of smart. I was good at getting grades or whatever, but I was just kind of this nerdy kind of guy. So I didn't feel like a leader. I wasn't leading anybody. At some point, you kind of find, hey, there's a group of people. So just yesterday, I found out that one of the guys that I grew up with passed away, and he's a couple of years younger than me. And when I went to talking about him to my wife, I said, yeah, he was kind of a nerdy guy. And she said, nerd? I thought you said that's what you were. I said, well, yeah, I guess we kind of hung out together. But then I realized, hey, listen, he was the first guy that I knew that was in the computers. He got me in the computers. And when I went to music in the computers, he was the one that helped me do that. We flew stunt kites. That was something that nobody ever was really doing. We were like the first Black guys to win first place down at Wildwood. And we came out of nowhere because there were no Black people flying stunt kites. Where y'all come from? We were the first people to come, and we actually found some shirts that matched our kites, and that was like, oh, now everybody does that. But we were the first ones that did that. He was the first one that bought a motorcycle that I knew. And I said, man, show me how to ride this thing. Show me where the gears are. Nah, man, I need to get me a motorcycle. So I wasn't a leader, but then I started hanging around with people that were like me, or different than me, or liked me, and I liked them. I talked about my buddy Jeff, and you know, we call each other ugly, and he was about 350 pounds, and it wasn't nothing I could not do for Jeff, and Jeff would just do for me. I'd eat breakfast, and I'd come over to his house in the morning before school, and he'd have all kinds of sausage and bacon and stuff. Man, I already ate. He'd be like, nigga, you ain't eat. Sit down. We're going to eat breakfast, right? We got to go to school. No, you're going to eat. So when you start hanging around with the groups of people that like you might then find yourself stepping into a leadership role.
Right.
Hey, y'all, you know what we ought to do? We ought to do this, or maybe we could do this, or we get together, whatever. You become a leader. And then as you get older, you become more confident in yourself. When you get to your 40s, I always say you're an old soul because you've gotten there before a lot of folks your age. But you get to the point where you say, I am me. This is who I am. Feel me, love me, or don't. I don't really care one way or another. And so you have to have confidence in yourself before you can lead other people, but you also have to have confidence in the people that you're leading, that they can do the job without you.
Right.
They got to be able to do the job without you. You have some people that are leaders and they have to have their hands in everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was never that leader. When I was in the military, I would tell my troops, hey, listen, you got the plan of the day. You know what we're supposed to be doing. If I don't show up, senior man, take care of the troops, call the troops to order, and execute the plan of the day. You know what to do. You've been taught, you've been given so now you go do that. Now, when I show up, you turn it over to me, or I'll tell you to carry on and keep doing what you've been doing. You're doing a good job. I'm gonna go do something else. So leaders have to be able to also follow. You know what? So, you know, my senior chief comes up to me, senior says, hey, you know, hey, listen, LT, we got such and such going on or whatever. And I looked at it. I think we should do this. You know what, senior? That's a good idea. Go on and execute. I'm gonna stand over here and let you do what you do.
And you know, for me too, I look at this like as far as being a leader, I think from the outside looking in, it just seems really appealing. Like, oh, you know, I want to do that too. But I look at it in an even more in-depth process. Like, even in my job, in my 9 to 5 or my daily job, I look at everybody, oh, I want to be a chief, or I want to do this, and it's like, that's cool. It looks cool. It appears to be cool, but you got to be willing to deal with the response. It's a lot of responsibility being a leader too.
There is.
Everybody, and some people want to be a leader, but they don't want to do the part that's necessary to be a real leader. Oh, I just want the title, or I just want to appear to be one, but I don't really want to do the work. Or I don't want to do what's necessary to be a successful or a proper leader. Because there are some leaders out there, like you just mentioned about the religious guy, or there are people that are leaders out there, but that doesn't make them good leaders. So you always want to make sure that if you are in a leadership role, you want to make sure that you are a good leader too, because there are some bad ones out there, and I've seen them all the time. You know, it's like, you are a leader, but you're not a good one.
You're not a good leader. My philosophy is this: the leader has to take the blame for everything that goes wrong and give the credit to the troops for everything that goes right. You do that, man, you're in pretty good shape. If it's wrong, it's on my watch. It doesn't matter how it turned upside down or whatever. It's my fault. But when we are successful, it's because of you guys who are executing the mission or doing whatever it is. You're the one that's responsible. So it's like, you know, if I'm blending a cigar, you know, and say I had this blend and something goes wrong during the production of the blend or during the fermentation or whatever the case, I can't blame my warehouse manager or my production manager. I got to blame me because maybe I didn't have a process in place to check the quality.
Right.
I didn't have a process where I got samples to check it for myself to make sure that it was what we wanted. So as the leader, you have to be able to take that blame, you know, maybe it's my fault.
Yes. I even like looking at something like sports, like, so I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan in the world, but I always respect him though. And one thing I like about him that I've seen, like specifically somebody like Aaron Rodgers or somebody they don't do, when Brady does well, he always will give praise to his teammates, his coaches and everything. And when he does bad, he always puts it on himself.
That's exactly what I was just saying.
Even if me and you watched the game and we saw that the receiver missed a wide open ball, he'll be like, man, you know, that's my fault. I should have had the ball better placed, or maybe shouldn't have thrown it as hard. He's always trying to take the blame. Whereas
Right.
opposed to somebody like Rogers, like, well, he just missed a wide open catch, you know, and it's like, yeah, we know that, but that's the difference between being that good leader and just somebody that's like, this is why your teammates ain't really maybe gravitating around you like they should.
But somebody like Brady will be like, you always talk about Kobe as being a leader or whatever. He might make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe might not, make a mistake. But one of the things Kobe always would say is, you might be better than me, but you ain't gonna outwork me.
Right.
So both Brady and Bryant, you see them working to fix the mistakes that have been made.
I'm not the tallest, I'm not the fastest, but I'm gonna outwork you to supplement it.
Right.
Yep.
When I was in college and studying for a test, and I told you this when you were studying for the test, I'm like, don't study the stuff that you already know. I would be good at going over the stuff I already know, and the stuff I don't know, be like, well, maybe that'll be a minority of the stuff. But hey, listen, if I'm a ball player and you know what, I know I'm weak going to my left, I need to keep working on. Forget about my right hand, just work on my left, work on my left, work on my left. As a musician, if my left hand is not doing what it needs to do, then I need to work on my left hand versus I'm pretty good with the right, but the left ain't good, so I need to work on the left. So you got to, learn how to work on your weaknesses, and that's with everything, right? So I was saying the little trouble I had yesterday. Today, I spent more time paying attention to the slight mistakes that I was making and correcting it. So as you're going into a curve, you got a trailer following you. I kind of know that the trailer is going to follow the truck, but there's a certain point in the curve that you have to aim for that will get your wheels where they need to be and not cross over the line.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, maybe, hey, listen, ain't nobody over there and I'm crossing over a little bit. So today was all day. No matter what it is, whether it was important or not, whether there was somebody over there or not, all day was quick, boom, 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 left, right mirror. I'm checking, making sure that I'm in there. And at first, it was a little rough. It kept kind of drifting. It kept drifting or whatever. Okay, I got to figure out a better way. Then after a while, hey, we in there. So we good. Right. So hopefully the mistake that was made yesterday won't ever be made again. Now, to say that you won't repeat your mistakes, you might.
Right.
But the goal is to continue working so that you don't repeat those mistakes. And then as a leader and a coach and a mentor, what you are trying to do is instill that confidence that I said people lack.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the tools and then encourage them and then give them the opportunities to go out and do what it is that they do well. When I started working for the government, I think I was a GS7 engineer, and there was a meeting down in DC, and my boss sent me down to the meeting. And I said, John, all of those people down there are going to be like GS13s and GS14s. I'm going to be the lowest graded person in the room. He said, don't worry about it. You got this. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. I'm sending you as a representative. So he gave me the opportunity. And he sent me.
Right.
I was impressed. And so when it came down to doing something for him as my boss and as my leader, there was really like not a whole lot within the scope of the job that he couldn't ask me to do that I would do for him because he gave me opportunities. That's all a part of being a good leader. It's not just being the guy that's up in the front or in the pulpit and wearing the shiny suit and driving the fancy car. Sometimes the leader has got to be there in the trenches late at night, getting ready for the troops the very next day to have things set up so that things go well. So a leader is part of being a leader is being a follower. Sometimes you gotta follow, but sometimes as a leader, you got to roll up your sleeves and get dirty.
And in sense of saying that, that's why I always say leaders lead from the front. So sometimes, like you say, if we're in a line of 10 people and we get at, us as recruits of something, the sergeant or lieutenant asks us to all do something, we all standing there. Well, sometimes if I feel like I'm a leader in there, I'm looking around and nobody wants to take the dive or nobody wants to take the first step. All right, well, let me get in there and show everybody else that I'm willing to do it too. It's just like you just got to show sometimes I think, and that's what I think too, as a good leader, you have to show yourself in a vulnerable state sometimes, because I think when you gain that trust, that's really important too. And so people have to see you in a vulnerable state, and that will gain trust. Once they gain that trust, like you said, then as a leader, if I ask or need something of you, you sitting there like, yeah, I'm gonna do that for him, man. That dude will get down there and get dirty with me. I've seen him do whatever. I got no problem. But if I'm up there and all I do is bar quarters or never getting down and dirty with the crew or the men or the women or whatever, it's like it becomes much harder then to support or get the support of the team that you are trying to lead. So
I'll give you an example of that, right? So I heard this story once of a pastor, and there was something wrong with the air conditioning in the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was hot. So he was still asking the people to come to church. They're hot, sweating. Hey, listen, you could dress down, this, that, whatever. So when they go back to get him in his office, he's back in his office. He's nice and cool. He got air conditioning in his office. You know what I'm saying? With solidarity for my people, I would be the type of person to roll up my sleeves, put on my short sleeves, and I'd be sweating along with
you.
Because
we're not good unless we all good.
Right.
We gotta all be taken care of, and then we good. You know, like that's how I am too. It's like if we all ain't good, then we ain't good.
And again, so that goes back to hanging around those people that are very similar to you and that think, for the most part, like you, because you got to have people that think different than you.
Of course.
But like we talked about the cigar game or whatever, you know, it's like in my cigar career, I have sent out a lot of cigars to brothers and sisters or whatever. We do stuff, right? So I had a brother this week tell me, I ain't gonna call his name. He said, man, I don't want y'all to think that, you know, every time you see me that, you know, I got my hand out and that, you know, I'm like begging for cigars. I said, no, it ain't like that. I said, I have several bags in my humidor now. I got a bag up there with your name on it. I said, you know, we talk about stuff. I said, I'm put it in your bag. You know, I got a bag from Mark, got a bag from my brother, Matt Bailey. Different people have bags, right? He said, well, I ain't used to that because I never had people in my life that did something for me without wanting something in return. I said, well, see, this group of people, we're not like that. So you're going to have to get used to being around people like us. When I give you something, I'm giving it to you because I want you to have it, not because
we ain't keeping tabs on this shit either.
I'm not keeping tabs.
Real motherfuckers ain't keeping no tabs on anything. Like the real know what they did. I don't have to keep tabs, you know, like
right.
And that. So let me ask you a question too, because you've been in the cigar community longer than me, as far as being on YouTube or just in social media. Do you compared to when you first started as opposed to now, do you feel like there's much of a change in the community and the personnel involved? You know, when you first got in 2014, 15, and the people that were around the Charles Wallingford, Stogie Palace, people that are long gone now, Puro Maduro. What do you feel like? Do you feel like there's been much of a change in the community as far as maybe willingness to help people, or what's your whole thought process when it really boils down to the community now as opposed to what it was 4 or 5 years ago?
It's kind of hard to say because there's so many more people in the community and so many more people that are public and vocal and have channels.
Right.
I think when I first started, everybody was kind of off in their own lane, doing their own thing. And there was no real cross promotion. You know, Cigar Obsession was over there, and Vixen was over there, and Wallingford and Puro Maduro, but they never really talked about the other people.
Right.
And there was no interaction between us. We just were separate. So this type of thing like we're doing now, and our community thing we're doing, and Vic has done some shows and Prop, and cigar manufacturers have gotten on lives and Zooms or whatever. That stuff didn't happen. So it's kind of hard to say, is it in general more help available or less help? Because there's so many more people. There are groups of people that are willing to help. There are groups of people that don't want to help anybody.
Right.
So, to lump it all into a general, hey, this is what the cigar community is, it's not that way. Because I could tell you, there's some people in the community, I wouldn't piss in their mouth if their teeth was on fire.
Yep.
There's other people in the community, it'd be like, you say you where? You 10 hours away. Well, let me go fuel up the car. I'll be out there in 10 hours.
Right.
So it's just different people and different relationships, and I don't think you can. That would be almost like prejudicial to say all of the cigar people are like this.
Yeah.
That's like saying all black people are like this, all white people, all Hispanics. It's
Right.
no, there's exceptions to every rule. So whatever you find in the community is there's some good and there's some bad. I think there's some bad. I think there's a whole lot of good.
So me looking at it too, like as a viewer, and I still consider myself a viewer on a lot of this stuff too. Like, I feel like when I first started dealing with cigars and watching YouTube, like you said, there were far fewer content creators, but at least this is my general thought or what I naturally feel. I feel like the purpose was a lot more genuine and a lot more natural previously. Mm-hmm. I feel like there wasn't as much trying to push product, trying to push certain cigars. It was literally most of, now you had, Vixen and Obsession, TNT, you had channels that did that. But like once you got outside of that kind of top 5 or whatever, should I smoke this and stuff like that, like the smaller guys that use Stogie Palace, Puro Maduro, Wallingford, some other people, I feel like it was just general reviews of whatever cigar, like maybe you might have been the reviewer that reviewed whatever you got in front of you. Puro Maduro only reviewed what he liked, or if there were certain things where I feel like now there's far more content creators, and like I said, what their reason is their own reason. But me as a viewer, I look at a lot of it and I feel like it's a lot more nowadays people wanting notoriety or just to feel like, oh, I want to be in front of a camera, or I want to feel like I'm that person, and I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, it wasn't really that much of it. I feel like it was more of a natural love for cigars, where I feel like now there still are some people out there that are newer that do love cigars, but I feel like a lot of the stuff I watch now is just kind of like,
you know what my response to that is?
What you got?
So what?
Yep.
So what? So we started out the conversation saying you get into those groups of people that you like. Yep. Was everybody a nerd like Antoine and a big loud fat black dude like Jeffrey, or little kind of skinny glasses wearing dude like Leander? No. But we was in our group. So when in our group, it was like, all right, Jeff, 350 pounds, he had a Toyota Celica sports car. What we do? We go cram into his sports car and go out somewhere and ride, the 3 of us. Man, put the seat up. I need room up here. Nigga, build your big ass up, man.
You're gonna have to be uncomfortable. Everybody got to be uncomfortable with
Everybody got to be uncomfortable, but we in our group though. You understand what I'm saying? So same thing with the cigar reviewers. If there's people out there that are doing things that you don't like, so what? Let them do what they do. I don't watch you. I'm not involved with your group. But you will always find people that will cross over as well. There's one sister I can think of in particular. She's in a group that I don't really mess with the group, but she's in another group that I do mess with. I like her as a person.
Of course.
So, so I don't mess with that group over there. I let them do what they do. I follow her in the group over here and we talk over there, but we don't talk over here.
Right.
Understand? So you can't worry about what those other people are doing. Let them do what they do.
Yep. And I think for me, like maybe because I don't know, like, and I was just asking general, because me, that's kind of how I move anyway now too. It's like, if I don't like it, I don't watch it or don't comment on it. I think I was asking generally kind of like just in case, like I said, I don't know who's watching this stream. It might be somebody new, and then they might look over and say, well, Ron's not really doing reviews or something anymore. I started watching YouTube for reviews, and kind of like the same thing was like, if I'm not doing reviews or whatever, and this is not the kind of stuff you like watching, then cool, go
watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch the person that's doing reviews. There are plenty of people that do reviews every week on cigars. They have every cigar that you ever wanted to know. Go watch them, especially if they are giving you the information that you want.
Right.
So they're giving you the information you want in the format that you like. Yeah, this is a guy I like. I'll go watch that. This other one, not so much. I mean, I'm not getting anything out to review. No, he's not going to be the one that I watch. That's why we have like different channels to watch.
Now, and just out of curiosity too, so we speak on that too. What do you think? What do you think drives so like we move that way? Like, all right, if I don't want to watch it or whatever, I don't watch it, don't comment, whatever. What what do you think is it? What I guess this is kind of a weird question too, because we're obviously not in these people's minds, so we don't know. We never technically will know why they do what they do. It's like we just won't know. But
Right.
I look at a lot of the people, and it's just like, and it's not even just cigars. I'll see on fragrance channels or whatever I'm watching, people that just come over and comment, and it's just like, and like I said, I'm not worried about it, but it's still, when you see it, it's just kind of funny. You like, damn, you don't like this channel, like, and you over on every video watching all of them just to comment on something negatively. It's like, and that's when I kind of like, I think you do like this person, or you do like this channel. You just, I don't know, is that your way of just trying to, well,
But see, hold on, let me back. I got a couple of things I can add into that, right? So, you ever read the book called The Four Agreements?
Nope, I need to now.
Yeah, you need to get that one. It's a short book. It'll get you buy it for $3 or $4 on Amazon. It's a short, cheap book, and one of the four agreements is don't take things personally. Always do your best. I forget what the other two are, right? There was another book that I read as well that said something like, people have issues and people have problems, and say I don't like you, Ron.
Right.
The fact that I don't like you has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me. And I don't like you because you wear black hats. And when I grew up, the people who wore black hats were the bad guys.
Right.
And they were always like, say like the Taliban or somebody. And every time the black hat people showed up, they caused all kinds of havoc and ruckus or whatever. So when I see you in a black hat, I don't like you. That's my problem. That's not your problem. Right. So you have to kind of remember that. People are doing things because, let me not get off of that. You never know what is in a person's reasoning, mental state, why they are doing. Sometimes we'll read a comment, we'll talk about comments back and forth, and you'll see it one way, I'll see it another way, but you don't know who that person is that is making a comment. If Ak makes a comment and he says GTFOH, if it comes from somebody else, I mean, like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Blah, 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 blah. But I know it's coming from Ak. I know how Ak is saying it.
Right.
You understand?
You know the context, yeah.
I know the context in which it comes. So you never know with the people who are leaving comments on your video where they are coming from. Some people will leave a comment on your video and it's like, hey, you said something to my man who I like that I didn't like what you said to my man, so I'm not going to like what you say. So I'm going to leave a comment that's in a negative way.
Right.
A lot of people are lonely. A lot of people lack confidence. A lot of people, you don't know who they are. Reminds me of this old CB song. And it was, I think the boy was Teddy Bear or something like that. It was a little boy. And he used to always talk to the truckers on the CB as the song went along or whatever, right? So every time they would come through, they would always, holler out for Teddy Bear, whatever his name was. And so at the end of the song, the good old country song got some sadness near the end, right? So he goes on and tells the story that his father was a truck driver and he went out one night and whatever the story was, his father got killed and never came back home. So that was why he was on the CB talking to these truckers. So just like the people giving the comments on the videos, you never know why they're watching the video or why they're giving the comment.
Right.
You just have to assume that it's coming from a good place. Sometimes it's not. Okay, that's fine. I find that to be the minority of the times.
Right.
And when you find somebody that's really just, trolling or giving you a bunch of grief that you want, they got that block button that you could just say, you know what?
No, that's my favorite button there.
We're having a block party. It's a block party. So you could, and I try not to block people. Some people do get blocked.
Shit,
one of my
I'm Mutombo. You might have one time.
No.
You do that shit again, your ass getting blocked.
And sometimes I don't even warn them, but
I don't. I think it's just it's like one day they probably scratch their head like, damn, I was able to leave a comment. Now I can't write nothing on this damn video. Yeah, man.
But again, like I said, you don't know where people are coming from if you don't know them or if you haven't talked to them, you don't have a relationship with them. So I try not to make assumptions. I try to treat everybody with fairness and kindness and and the way that I would want to be treated is why I try to answer comments. I'm getting bad at answering comments in a timely fashion, but I do my best. But again, you never know how you affect people. So therefore, you never know what you mean to them, and you never know what your words mean in their life. I know because a lot of people tell me.
Right.
But before they told me, I was just standing out here just talking or whatever. So, you gotta, social media is a strange bird. It's back to the confidence. I think it's what gives a lot of people confidence and validation.
Right.
I get a lot of views on my video. Oh man, people like me. I get a lot of thumbs up. I'm good. Oh man, I only got 200 views, and Obsession, he got 2,000 views on the same cigar. I got to figure out a way to catch up to him. When you get past that, you say, Ray, I'm good, man. You got 200?
Right. I'm in my own lane. Yep. Yeah, I just was curious about that, because it's like it's always funny to me too, right? As many different genres as it is on YouTube, fragrance, shoes, men's fashion, women's fashion, cars, cooking. It's like it's funny because it's like you have all these different genres, but there's a lot of the same things going on in all these different genres. You'll just go over and see the same. It's funny how it's kind of like the whole small world comment. It's like it's just everything goes in a cycle where a lot of people are dealing with the same things, even though if it's different topics. So I always have been interested in that too, because it's funny. You'll be like, man, as shitty as it is over here, let me go over here. It can't be that bad over here. And then you go over there for a couple months and watch and tune in. You're like, damn, it's fucked up over here too. Like,
listen, I had a brother. He's a trucker, right? So we met probably about 3-4 years ago. And so we were on this app called Zello. It was like walkie-talkie app, and we all got to talk to each other. And the truckers that were up at night used it as a way to kind of talk and get through the night, get the miles going on down the road. So we met people, we had different relationships. A lot of us, we had each other's phone number, and we talked and this and that, whatever. So my man went away. He went off the scene for about couple 3 years at least. When he came back, he was like, man, things done changed out here. I was like, yeah, it done changed. It done changed. You have a lot of people, like you say, with that arguing back and forth, and this one don't like that one. And, it's like, it happens. It happens.
And,
it all goes around.
Everywhere too. It's all, it's like, then that's the thing too. Even if you try to put in your mind that you can get away from it, you never truly can. It's just always going to be around, because that's just people's nature in general. So it's like, it's going to be everywhere you are. You just got to learn how to deal with it too.
Yep. And, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes you feed into it,
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah.
And listen, I'm going to feed into it. I'm going to say what I got to say or whatever. And then you get to a point where you say, you know what, I'm done with that.
Right. And again, that's just human nature too. It's like, there's been times that something's happened to me, and me and you were talking like, man, Ron, just ignore it or something. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to ignore it. Then I go back and look at it like, nah, fuck that. He finna get this earful. Fuck him.
Yeah, man. I'm getting ready to bring the fire, baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna let him. I ain't gonna block him either. We just go back and forth, and then
we just gonna go on, man. And listen, I was pouring a lot of soy sauce on my food for a long damn time. and you said, just leave it alone. I was like, nah, fuck that. More soy sauce for life.
Your food is salty enough, Let it go.
Yeah, man. You got high blood pressure, You don't need no more soy sauce. And I'm like, baby, and out of it, one of the funniest videos that I have ever put up, that soy sauce for life. I laughed my ass off. I gotta put that one back out, because that's still funny to me.
I thought that was a pretty funny one too. And then it's like, it's all in good fun, man. It's like, I don't really hate nobody on here or want to fight nobody on here. It's like, it's just at the end of the day, it's like, it's just you. Oh yeah, but you look at it, it's just like, it's just YouTube, man. Like, shit, it's just.
Listen, I got people in the trucker space that are threatening people. They calling their gangs. They calling their family. They getting people's address. They showing up at their house. It just serious, listen. There was one video where this dude, I think he drove all the way from, I think it was out west somewhere, to maybe Florida.
So
This
what you gonna
dude,
do? You want to go out there, get in the situation, and get locked up?
listen, drove to this man's house, called him out on the porch, and knocked his ass out. It's content, but I mean, but listen, you go to jail for something stupid like that. But he drove cross country.
Man, he had to have him on fire.
He was bringing the pain. I mean, he was just not. Larry June, I think, was the dude's name. He brought the fire. Like, I am here. What you got to say now? And it's, it's some other folks now that's just like that. It's on site. On site. When I see you, it's on site. Don't say nothing. You just bring it. I ain't getting it. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Man, it ain't that damn serious, man. Like, even if push come to shove, even if it did get that bad, it's like, all right, like you just said, if it's on site or whatever. If I see you, then we'll handle it. But I'm not finna go no 2,000 or 3,000 miles to put myself in the situation. And we at a convention or somewhere or something, all right, then we'll have to deal with it when that comes. But it's like,
and then
either
we'll talk it out, or we will say it ain't gonna be fixed. It's just gonna be, you know what, like I say, it'll be fuck you for life, period.
Yep.
You know? And I got a couple of people, not necessarily talking about this, but just in my life, who are on that list. They are on that list.
The list of no return.
Yep. Some of them used to be related to me. On that list. I just, you know what? That's it. I'm not doing that because, I reached out to somebody. This is August. It's August. I reached out to him. I said, listen, I seen you. I don't really talk to this person, this woman. And I said, listen, I saw you in a dream and, just checking in on you, make sure everything is good with you. Oh, I got a response back that ended with like 4 parentheses or whatever. You have a great day. I was like, whoa.
All right. Say less. Say less. All right.
You won't have to worry about the next time I darken your doorstep.
Yeah, say less. I trust me, it's noted. That's all I would say. Noted. We good.
And listen, sometimes it's got to be that way. You can't get along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes listen, I'm a nice guy. People see you smile or whatever. But like I said, that fuck you for life list, I got one. And it's got a few people on it. And it's just like, I got nothing. And then listen, that's something that I should work on. Hey, listen, you're a Christian, forgiveness, all that. I always tell people, hey, that left cheek, right cheek thing, I'm still working on it,
Yeah,
and now, today, that list still exists. So,
like I said, it's a few on mine too. It's just like whatever. Like I ain't gonna go out my way to cause harm or nothing. But don't talk to me. Leave me alone. Just stay out my way.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay away from me. We're gonna be just fine. So,
and a little
bit over. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say a lot of that starts with how people treat you. So
that's it. And that's the thing too. Is like, what is the saying? Like, if I cut you off, then you gave me the scissors.
Ooh, I like that.
It's like, like you just said, I'm overwhelmingly a lover compared to a fighter. But it's like, you get on the bad side. It's like, all right, man, you got shit. You dead to me pretty much. Like, I'll just leave me alone.
Yep.
I guess we'll peek in the chat for a minute. We've been up for a little bit over an hour.
Yeah, you go into the chat. You took me back to one of my old high school girlfriends, boy. Talking about you dead to me. 30 years. 30 years man. She was on the list. 30 years, brother. And a few years before she died, she came off the list and we talked and straightened everything out.
And that's always gratifying too, when you know that somebody, you were able to mend and fix things before it would have became permanent. So that's good. We got AD the Cigar Man in here.
AD, what's going on, nephew?
Yeah, man, good to see you. I've been keeping up with you, AD. Got Prudence in here, Anthony.
What's up,
Rodney Landers.
Hey, Rodney, man, they canceled our Cigar Fest, man. We ain't gonna get together again.
Yeah, I did. I saw that too. 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah, I was just like, man.
And you know what? Hey, Rodney, you know what I'm looking for, though? Last year they had the cigar packs after they canceled the show. They had all of the cigars in the bags and the swag you could buy. So I'm looking for that to see if they do that again this year. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just listening. I was just like seeing, we got Mystical in here. And
Mystical Jet, smoothest brother in the cigar.
There he is. I speaking of Mystical too, I put him on that Shalimar too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's a connoisseur in whatever he does.
Listen, I could tell just by looking at him. No cap that the brother got to smell good.
Hey, if you got threads like that, you gotta smell good.
You gotta smell good. I know he smelled good. I could see it through the picture.
I'm gonna tell you too, like I was talking to my brother Robert, Fragrance Journey 01. I was telling him, I said, what's really weird to me. So like with fragrance, right? So I have such a fond scent memory of my mom's dad. He always wore polo green and Ralph Lauren Safari. He had other stuff, but those are the scents that when I smell them, I instantly think of my granddad. So I went and bought a bottle of polo green, and then I'm gonna buy a bottle of Safari, Ralph Lauren Safari. I still have his actual bottle, but it's empty. And I wish I would have known then what I know now, because I never would have sprayed all the rest of the juice. I just would have kept some in a bottle. But I said, at least I didn't throw away the bottle.
Right.
But scent and fragrance has always been something that I thought about, but not how I do now. Like I've always had one or two bottles around, and I never sprayed it every day. It was more of a special occasion thing for me. Like,
me too.
I'm dressing up to go to a nice dinner. Let me spray something. Where now it's like I wake up and it's a process. Like I sit over there and look and like figure out mood. I'm mood dependent on what I want to wear. I spray it, start smelling good. And like you said, your wife said, "You smell good today," and it just starts your day off good. Like, all right, man. You go out, and like I said, I don't wear stuff for compliments, but it's nice when you out somewhere and somebody says, "What are you wearing? You smell good today." It's just like, man, that's it's cool, man. It just puts you in a good mood. So,
who else we got out there?
Who else we got in the building? Let's see, a cowboy in the building.
Cowboyism, the Lou.
Matt Bailey in the building. He said he just had his first Andalusian Bull. He thought it was a great cigar.
Oh, I'm glad you thought so, Matt. Hey, let me know if you need some more, man.
That's one you ain't gonna have to worry about being in my humidor. But now that I know you like them, Matt, if I see any, I'll start hoarding some for you.
I know where they have some, Matt. So let me know if you need some.
Yeah. Got Leon Moore in the building. He said, "Yeah, I wanted to go to D25." I know, me too, man. I was really looking forward to that, man. So, I already know what they're gonna do. They're gonna probably, if we do get through this situation, they probably gonna throw this in the middle of the summer. It's gonna be hot as hell down there.
Oh yeah,
you already know what they're gonna do.
Yep. But I don't know. We ain't gonna talk about it tonight, but I don't know, man. It's looking a little rough now.
It does. They are starting at 7:00 in the morning tomorrow. The mandatory mask mandate back for the city.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
A lot of places. I didn't realize. I go for allergy shots in Delaware, so I went rolling up in there the first time in the doctor's office. They're like, "Oh no, we still require masks in here." Yeah, my wife, I didn't realize, was wearing every day at her office still.
Right. Yep. And that's how we are on the job too. We have to wear it on all the calls and all this all the time too. So,
and the bad thing is the breakthrough cases that keep coming up. So it's like we have people that had COVID, had the vaccination, wear the mask, and still got it again.
Right. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, I say, well, man. I think we had us a good episode.
Yeah, I think so. I enjoyed it. I think everybody showing up.
And like I said, even with this cigar, for me, like I said before too, I enjoyed the cigar. It's kind of nice sometimes. You get to sit back. You don't have to think too hard on flavor notes or whatever. You just know you're smoking a good cigar. You can just sit back and enjoy it. So,
yeah, 1502 is a good cigar. There's a good line. There's another one that flies way under the radar. I think
you put me on that company too.
Yeah, and shout out to my brother Harry as well. Harry, I put him on 1502. I forget which one is his favorite, but he's like, yeah, that's just like.
I don't even think I've had one from him that I didn't like. I've had some I like more than others, but they've all been at least solid for me.
Yeah, I am very happy with 1502, and I'll put them up with Perdomo as far as consistency, because Enrique puts together a quality product. He has put that together a quality product for years. Very happy for him. We were kind of instrumental in getting him over in Europe. And so he's doing well over there. He's, still in the game, but, quiet. I don't know if I've seen him at these trade shows or not. I don't know, but he's good.
Other than if you see him on social media, he, like I say, he has to be a hell of a chef, because he's always cooking some snapper or some kebabs or some steak. He always eating good.
Yep.
So and if all else fails, I got to run into him just so we could break bread together, because I know he can cook.
And he's a hell of a dresser as well. So
I see that too.
Yeah, he's another smooth brother. Every time I see him, he's just like Francisco. Every time I see him, man, it's a big smile and a big hug. And my brother Hermano, and what's up, man? How you doing? It's just, some
I'm
people.
gonna tell you who else I think about too. Now that we talk about like the Enriquez and the Francisco Almontes, even though he's on a smaller scale,
Right.
but I always think about Steve Zingle with Los Caitos too.
Okay, yeah, Steve is another great guy.
He's a solid dude, man.
Solid dude. I'm happy
guy.
now that he's being distributed with Sutliff. He's in with them and got the distribution. And a lot more people will get out and be able to smoke that Los Caitos.
Yep.
That is good. Coming up on I Robusto Meet in the Middle show, the September pack, we got that new Lalibela from Black Star Line. So I'm excited about that cigar as well.
Yeah. Definitely shout out to Eric too over at Black Star Line.
Shout out to you, Eric.
Yep. So I know James and Black Line have finally started carrying his whole lineup too. We did the that probably was over a year ago. We did the live review of the Warwich, right? Yeah, great cigar too. So, but I guess we'll get out of here. You want to leave him with anything?
All right, listen, I'm gonna let you take it on out, but y'all already know you got to say every day is another great day, no matter what happens in your life. You see, I tell you the ups and I tell you the downs, so you can understand. I'm not like one of those preachers that stands in the pulpit and tells you everything is going to be all right because everything is always all right in my life. Everything ain't always all right. Every day is a challenge sometimes, and so we just got to deal with it. After I had my little situation, I came home, I poured me a drink, I sat in this chair, I lit up a good cigar, I watched the smoke, I watched the cars go by, and the whole world just melted away. So that's the thing I love about cigars. I love about the cigar community as a whole. We are some great people. Remember, you are great, and you have the solutions to all of your problems. You don't have to necessarily always go to somebody else, but every once in a while, you need to talk to somebody else. So if you talk to somebody else and you need to, go do that. It ain't something that everybody has to always know, and don't have to be a professional. Maybe it is a professional, but if you feel a little something going on crazy inside your head, let your crazy out every once in a while. I got a whole lot of crazy going on inside of my head. I already know that, but I also know when I need to go talk to somebody and have them straighten me up. Go and take us out of here, Ron.
And that's a fact, man. And I just want to tell you guys, everybody that's tuned in, everybody that's going to be catching the playback, appreciate you guys tuning in for caring what we got going on, listening to us every week. This is, I think, it's kind of cool. I look at this as like a therapy session. I think both of us can say that this is something that's much needed for not only us, and then we hope that everybody that's viewing is getting something out of it too. Even for, like I said in the very beginning of the stream, if even for an hour or two out of your day or out of your week, that this is a bright spot in your week, then we are happy that we're able to provide that.
Absolutely.
And on that note, man, y'all already know the name of the game is relaxation and enjoyment. Don't ever let anybody take you out of your peace. And y'all always remember to be driven, never motivated. Gonna catch y'all next week.